I spent years trying to figure out a perfect morning routine.
Morning sunlight.
Close your eyes in a meditation.
Red light therapy.
Apple cider vinegar.
Go into the cold.
Morning pages popularized by
Apple cider
Julia
vinegar
Cameron
thing in water.
Certainly within the first hour afterwards.
The objective is to fit in maximum amount of healthy habits in a limited time to create a morning routine that helps with productivity but also feels gentle and natural. That's why crafting the perfect morning routine has always been a puzzle to me. But as someone who is obsessed with optimizing systems and suffer from a little bit of perfectionism, after many trial and errors, I finally figured it out, and I'm excited to share with you. Hi friends, welcome to Sparkle Bowl. My name is Jing. On this channel, we will be talking about self-care, food and nutrition, and life optimization. Now let's get into it. I set the alarm on my watch to avoid looking at my phone first thing in the morning. Since it's still dark out, I turn on the lamp to get some light into my eyes. This signals the brain that it's daytime, and it helps with setting my inner clock. After brushing my teeth, I drink a big glass of water. My mom actually taught me this, and I've been doing it since I was a kid. I add apple cider vinegar to support glucose stabilization, and a little bit of lemon juice for vitamin C. Apple cider vinegar is safe on empty stomach. And for those intermittent fasting, this amount of lemon juice won't break your fast. After hydrating myself, I sit down to write morning pages. In the book The Artist's Way, Julia Cameron suggests 1 hour of stream of consciousness writing first thing in the morning. I tried that for 2 weeks and decided that 1 hour is too long for me. So now I write 2 pages, and it usually takes me between 20 to 30 minutes. Meditation while wearing the red light therapy mask is a new addition to my morning routine. I had always struggled to fit meditation into my life. And since this mask comes with a 10-minute timer, I thought it was a great way to combine both. Now, my mind is fully awake, and it's time to wake up my body. It is usually around sunrise. I love doing yoga at this time. It makes me feel like I'm rising with the sun. It gives the sun salutation pose a sense of synchronicity. Nothing intense, just a good 10 minutes of full body stretch. I've been doing this for a decade. It has become so second nature that I always travel with a yoga mat now. Time for a walk. Both Andrew Huberman and Gary Brecka emphasize on the importance of first light exposure. According to Huberman, sunlight viewing within first hour of waking is the most powerful tool for awakeness during the day and for ensuring a great night's sleep. A morning walk gets me the sunlight exposure I need, as well as giving me a head start towards my daily step goal. Good morning. I can finally talk now, because Paul is asleep, so I didn't want to wake him up. Now I'm walking at Hampton Park. This is where I come walking every day. We're gonna go take a lap, check out the ducks. In the morning, there's usually not a lot of people. Most people who are here are walking their dogs. I'm my own dog. I just walk myself twice a day. Look at this morning sunlight on my face. I usually do pretty well with sunproof, but in the morning, I don't even mind getting some sun. Honestly, even on my worst days, and when I'm taking a walk in this park, I just can't help but being so grateful. Just look how beautiful it is. Look at these beautiful flowers. So I'm leaving the park now. I walk here for about 30 minutes, and I just feel so charged by the sunlight, by the nature, and the fact that I get to spend this time alone first thing in the morning. It just makes my whole day feel pleasant and delightful. I enjoy my morning walk so much. Cold plunge has many health benefits. It gets you more adaptable to cold temperature, and reduces inflammation in the body. I add this in my routine with zero additional cost. And I get in immediately. My parents always collect this water. I don't do that. But I use it for somewhat of a cold plunge. It's not cold plunge level of water, but I think my skin gets some sort of stimulant from this coldness. Okay, time to take a shower. According to research, 11 minutes per week is how long you need to build up the brown fat stores to increase metabolism. My method kind of hits that threshold perfectly. It's close to 8 o'clock now. I make a magic matcha to break my fast. I add collagen peptides, mushroom adaptogens, and whatever milk I feel like that day. This delicious treat provides me 13 grams of protein and just enough of fuel to keep me focused until a full breakfast. I put on my blue light blockers and sit down at my desk. And just like that, I'm ready to face the day. Now I want to explain some thoughts that went behind how I orchestrated this whole morning routine. Some people say morning routine shouldn't be too rigid, but I actually planned this one extremely step by step with that strict order. Because I found in the morning, I would rather know exactly what to do instead of choosing between two options. That way I can eliminate decision fatigue. But I would also say this morning routine has some flexibility because I left enough room for each item. So the whole routine together takes about 2 hours, but it could be less. I chose to get up at 6 a.m. instead of 5 a.m. If I get up at 5 a.m., in order to have 8 hours of sleep, I have to go to bed at 9. And also, you're supposed to maintain the same bedtime. Realistically, who can go to bed at 9 p.m.? I guess if you're really dedicated, but to me that means sacrificing a lot of hanging out with friends or going out or watching TV for an hour. And if I get up at 6 a.m., I can go to bed at 10 p.m. And that is much easier to maintain, much more realistic. One thing that I learned over time and I would like you to keep in mind is that over-optimizing is not optimizing. You end up sacrificing a lot more for the tiny bit of benefits. It's not worth it. Another thought is that some people, instead of having all these morning routine, they just go right into their project. They cut out this extra time to do the things that they want to do. I think that's a good method too, but I didn't think it was for me, especially after I learned that when you get up and get yourself ready, prep your mind, prep your body, and ease into a productive day, helps with cortisol balance. For women, hormone is an extra thing to put into consideration. Now, I also have a few tips I'd like to share. Avoid using your phone at all cost. There were a few times I couldn't resist the temptation and checked my phone in the morning before I did all these routines. And when I realized my morning was gone, it was already 8 a.m. There are times that I upload a new video, a reel. I just want to see my results. Like, I want to see the numbers. Have people seen it? Have people liked it? And I ended up looking through all the things and then saw the negative comments, which affected me. I'm like, dang, I should not touch that thing. I have a new way of dealing with that is that I put my phone in charge in another room and put it in a bag and put it in the locker. So in the morning, I create all these extra steps for myself if I want to reach my phone. So then I end up not doing it. Tip number 2 is that you need to do your experiment and figure out what is your non-negotiable items. You kind of have to test it out a couple times. Do something and not do something to feel it out to see if you feel any difference. For me, those are morning pages, yoga, and walk. I got on the dog walking app and I started walking a dog. Sometimes I'm scheduled for an hour, and on those days in the morning, I sometimes would skip my morning walk and thinking, well, I have an hour of walk later in the day, but I ended up feeling not right. I then realized morning walk is crucial to me. I'm just so used to leaving the house and breathing the fresh air in the morning. That just makes me feel more involved and engaged with the world, feel more present. Sometimes I would not do the red light therapy. I don't feel any difference. So that is something I know I can move to the night routine, because we have to remember the purpose of the morning routine is to prep you physically and mentally to do the actual work, the needle-moving work that you want to do in order to live the life you want to live. So we shouldn't get it backwards just to finish all the tasks. This morning routine that I have currently is something that I spent years adjusting, and finally I got it down to this set of order, and it takes around 2 hours. If I get up at 6, I can still sit down in front of my desk by 8. We care about productivity, but we also care about mental health, and we care about how we feel. That's actually something I'm trying to put more focus on this year, to feel more rather than think all the time. And I paid extra attention to how I feel. I realized doing all these routines makes me feel grounded. It makes me feel like no matter where I am when I'm traveling, if I do this set of things, I kind of found myself a little bit. It feels like a reassurance. My morning routine is still evolving, and it varies from season to season. Keep an open mind, keep experimenting things on yourself. It's all really comes down to how you feel afterwards. So the perfect is something that you define. I now think of morning routine as a tunnel. Every morning, between the moment that you first open your eyes and the moment that you show up to face the world, there's a space and time in between. And that's where morning routine happens. You enter from one end and you do a set of things to prep you, to wake you up, and you come out the other end of the tunnel, you become a certain version of yourself for that day. If you have a good morning routine, it helps you to show up as the best version of yourself that you possibly can. There's an old Chinese saying that goes, 一年之计在于春，一日之计在于晨, which means the year's most precious time is in spring, and a day's most precious time is in the morning. After all these years trying to craft my perfect morning routine, it finally clicked with me. My elementary school teacher has been telling us this for years. It feels like a full circle. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that it inspires you to create your perfect morning routine. Thank you for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you next time. Bye!